welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. If so, you can subscribe down below. So for today's video, I am going to be doing a video that I saw Sarah Rose and a couple other people do, and I'm really excited about it. And basically we're creating my own palette based off my most used eyeshadows. I have quite a few palettes right here. I don't know how this is gonna go. Originally I was like, okay, I'll pick like a 10 pan, 12 pan type situation palette and stuff. As I was like, okay, what are my most used palettes? As I sat down and thought about that, I just found that I was like, ooh, this palette, this palette, this palette. So it should be complicated. I have a nice stack right there. But I'm really excited for today's video. I just thought it was kind of a different type video, and I thought it was interesting, and it's kind of like interesting thinking about what my palette would be, you know? So let's just get right into it. Okay, so I don't even know how this is gonna go. We have so many palettes from Too Faced to Dominique Cosmetics, lots of Too Faced, some Anastasia, ColourPop, Persona. I have so many and I don't know how this is gonna go. So first when I thought about this, the first shade that came to mind for me was Salted Caramel. This is like one of my most used warm browns to put in the crease type shade, so that is definitely a first. I haven't actually used this shade in a long time. I just haven't. But this, like if you go back to the beginning of my channel, this is like my everyday thing to use. But this is like just a really pretty brown neutral type shade, which I really like. And that's just something I always go in with my crease. And by the way, for this video, I'm not mentioning pan lit palettes because I feel like those are intentionally my most used shades. They're not personally my most used shades, if that makes any sense. Like if pan lit palette was off the table, like if I probably would, I just think that's like, I've come to love some of those shades, but I'm intentionally using them. It's not like they are my most used shades in general. So yeah, that's my first shade, and I feel like that's just like my go-to for the crease. That's the first one out of the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. So another one that pops out at me right away is from the Persona Cosmetics Identity 1 palette, and that's the shade Seductive, which is right there. I just think that's such a pretty, I don't even know what to call this shade, but I really like it. It's almost like a silvery pewter bronze shade, maybe. And my swatching is not perfect, but that's kind of what that looks like, and I just feel like that is like my go-to shade when I would use this palette. I would use that. I would also sometimes mix it in with Sassy to give it like a light champagne look, but that was always one of my favorites especially out of this palette. I also like a couple other shades, but I feel like if we need more shades, I'll come back to this palette, but honestly I don't even know what I'm doing, so we're gonna come back to it. But this is one of my favorite palettes, by the way. Next I picked the Zodiac palette, and the shade out of this palette I feel like is my most used shade is the Libra. I really like that because it's like a rose mauve type crease shade, and I just feel like it's very beautiful. It's also very soft, which I feel like is kind of sometimes the look I go for, is a soft look, and that's what it looks like swatched, and I just feel like it's so beautiful, and I just love that shade. Like I just feel like for my everyday I would kind of go rosy, kind of more neutral, and that's kind of my vibe. But yeah, definitely the Libra is one I love. Next we're gonna go for another, like I guess inner corner shade, and one that really stands out to me is Satin Sheets, which is that one. This one I would even use sometimes as like a inner corner highlight on my face. Sometimes I would use it for the inner corner. It's just such an amazing shade. I love it. For me, that one really stands out, and it's not like that one. It's not like too pinky tone, which I like. It's kind of like a good mix of a champagne, if that makes any sense. So that is out of the Bonbons palette from Too Faced. So for a darker shade, this is actually not where I was going originally, but I feel like for my dark shade, I would definitely go for Mocha out of the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. Mocha is just like the perfect brown. I don't like black, so black would definitely not be part of my color palette for my palette. I'm definitely more of a brown type girl. I definitely like browns a lot better. That's kind of what that one looks like. That would be part of my palette because like I just love browns, and I just think they are beautiful, and that is one of my most used shades. All these are my most used shades. These are shades I gravitate towards a lot, but that would definitely be one of my top picks. Also another top pick out of this palette would be Macchiato, which is basically a silvery champagne. It's that one. So gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it on my arm perfectly, but I know it's like similar to the other shades, but I just really like that. It's like one of my top used shades. There are months where I would use that all the time, so it's like one of my top faves. Another one of my most used shades out of the Carly Bible and Anastasia palette is Moo, which is that one. This one I would describe as a champagne gold. This is one of my most used shades. I haven't used it in a while because I was using it on the daily, so kind of, you know, didn't want to use that up being this is limited edition, but I love that shade and it's one of my favorites. It just applies so beautifully and it looks so gorgeous. Love it. Try not to use it so I don't use it up. You know, that kind of feeling. But yeah, I love that and I feel like it just goes with my vibe. It's like neutral, but it's also beautiful and creamy and buttery, and I just love that. Next is out of the Norvina palette, and I'd probably pick, this isn't gonna surprise anybody, but the rose gold shade. I'm literally addicted to rose gold, so that shade right there, addicted. And I just love rose gold shades, and that one I feel like I've used a lot. I feel like you can tell by the pan that I've used it a lot. There's a kind of a dip in there. And it's just one of my favorites. Oh, so beautiful, so beautifully swatched. I don't know if you can see that properly. And then we need one more, and I'm honestly not even sure what I'm gonna go for. Then the last one is a gold, and I know what you're thinking, Katie, don't you have a gold palette down? Kind of. I kind of do. But this one is just like a true gold. So this one is one of my favorites. This is Gold Dipped out of the Chocolate Gold palette from Too Faced. I really like it. Tried to show you, but it is so gorgeous. I really like this shade. It's that one right there in the crease of my arm, and it's just so gorgeous. Love it. And it's just like the definition of like chocolate gold, golden. And there's also another gold out of the original Chocolate Bar palette that I literally used the crap out of, which is Creme Brulee. See how bad that's used? Like, this would be another gold if I had to pick two that I would go for. This one I literally have like hardly anything left of it. That's why I never use that palette, because like, oh my god, but look how gorgeous that shade is. Oh yes, I love it. Yeah, that was like my favorite gold, my favorite shade at one time. I used that a lot. It was like that shade. I used Marzipan a lot too. So this is basically my color palette for my palette. I feel like this is kind of the epitome of what my palette would look like. It's very like neutral, but you also have those like bursts of fun colors. Like, it's definitely more neutral, but you know, that's what I go for. Either that or like a mauve rose gold. Like, this is kind of that vibe today with my eyes today and stuff. I use the Making Mauves from ColourPop if you're curious. But yeah, this is my palette and stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I did it well. I think I did. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below what videos you'd see next. Would you like to see me curating like a more fun like summer type palette? I feel like that might be fun to do. Let me know down below if you're interested in that, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because I post videos every single week. And I hope you're staying safe out there, and I hope you're having a great day, night, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.